Earlier this year, I rewatched all of Beyblade Series 1, and I was pleasantly surprised. The satisfying and emotionally rich story arcs for each of the Blade Breakers, as well as the genuine hype of the show's tournament arcs, had me thinking that kid me actually had some pretty good taste. Whereas I had vivid memories of Series 1 even before my rewatch, I have far few memories of V Force. I remember the change in art style, the introduction of Hillary, the 3D Beyblades, but I can't remember any story moments. Now, the question is, of course, are my lack of V Force memories because I had moved on to some other early 2000s cartoon, or was it because V Force just wasn't very memorable? The commenters on my Series 1 videos who had rewatched V Force more recently warned me that Season 2 is a bit of a mess, but I wanted to see for myself. Besides, for what I value in a series, I think Beyblade V Force had two big things going for it. First, I was a big fan of the first season's European arc, which moved away from the tournament arc setup and instead offered a weird traveling adventure storyline. Second, I'm a sucker for sequel stories, what happens to the heroes after the dragon is slain and the goal is reached. V Force seemingly ticks both of those boxes, so how is it? Welcome to my review of V Force, at least the first 16 episodes. V Force picks up very soon after the end of Beyblade Series 1, where Tyson and the Blade Breakers became world champion Beybladers. Max is now living in America working with his mom. Ray returned to his village in China teaching the next generation of bladers. Kai is off the grid, which feels about right. Tyson and Kenny are back in their hometown, with Tyson on this world champ ego trip that unfortunately will define a lot of his character in V Force. He's full of himself, overly confident, self-congratulating, and it kind of sucks. There's also the fact we kind of did this already during a sort of filler episode in Series 1 that was sandwiched in between the White Tigers arc and the All-Stars arc. So we're just doing that again, only now it's going to take a whole season for Tyson to get off his high horse, whereas that old episode managed to tell the story in 20 minutes. We're introduced to Hillary when Tyson is late to class again and disrupts the lecture. She's the only kid in class who doesn't care about Beyblades, and as such, she doesn't care that Tyson won a championship. As kids, we were Tyson fans, and most of us took his side, but as an adult, Hillary's kinda right. Tyson has been disrespecting his classmates and teacher on a daily basis. I think it's kind of fun having one character in the show, Hillary, who just does not care about Beyblades in the slightest, considering the sport of Beyblading is the center of the universe for like everybody else in this show. At a local tournament, Mr. Dickinson shows Kenny some new devices for Season 2, the very Digivice looking Beyblade battle analyzers. Dickinson says, quote, "It's new this year and comes in 4 fruit-flavored colors. It's going to be all the rage." This is the most blatant toy commercial product placement of all time, but I had no memory of these from my childhood, and it turns out that's because it was apparently a Japanese-only release. Speaking of Japanese-only toys and merch, before we keep going, I want to introduce you to the sponsor of today's video, Zen Market. Zen Market is a Japan shopping proxy service letting you shop for anime merch, Beyblades, new and vintage, Digimon collectibles that are exclusive to Japan. Not everyone can travel to Japan, but with Zen Market, you can go on your own anime shopping spree. Maybe you're like me and you're hoping and praying Hasbro releases those Drigger remake blades that are currently Japan exclusive. You're no longer at the mercy of Hasbro. You can order your own straight from Japan through Zen Market. With Zen Market, you can shop over 10,000 Japanese stores. Highlights include Amazon Japan, Rakuten, and Mercari. One of their cooler features is the free 60-day storage period, meaning you can buy something and if you don't need it urgently, keep shopping and bundle multiple purchases into one package so you're saving on shipping. Over 2 million users worldwide have used Zen Market. They support 19 languages with many shipping and payment methods to choose from in order to suit your preferences. Account registration is free, not to mention new users will get a 1,000 Zen points gift, which will give you 1,000 yen off the international shipping fee when you use the promo code TheDigino. Thanks for sponsoring the video, Zen Market. Now back to the V Force review. At the tournament, a new hooded blader who we'll come to learn is Ozuma from the mysterious Saint Shield beats Tyson in his first match since Russia. It's also the first instance of CG Bay battles, which were introduced in V Force and become a series staple moving forward. I completely understand why they moved to 3D. I have to imagine it's infinitely more efficient to 3D animate the spinning blades, but still there was something impressive about the hand-drawn animation of Series 1 that I'll miss and that I prefer. After Tyson's defeat, we learned that across the world, hooded figures like Ozuma are challenging the Blade Breakers. Max was confronted in America and so was Ray in China, with both losing just like Tyson. Max emails Chief and Tyson to warn them. This all feels very Digimon R Wargame to me, the original team broken up geographically but still keeping in touch through the Y2K era World Wide Web. So far I'm into everything V Force has to offer. Kai doesn't get a quick defeat scene like the others though. The writers, seemingly understanding that he is the best character, give him an entire episode for his Saint Shield encounter, showing us what he's been up to since the Series 1 finale. In one of V Force's more memorable sections, we discover Kai is now attending a prep school complete with a uniform, a chauffeur, no face paint. He's apparently retired from Beyblading, and the rumor going around at the school is that he quit because there's nobody good enough to battle with him, which is classic Kai, classic classic Vegeta when Goku is out of the picture, a fellow student named Wyatt, who's an aspiring blader, manages to get somewhat close to Kai before the two are attacked by Dunga from Saint Shield. Kai, unlike the other blade breakers, refuses to battle Dunga, which leads Wyatt to betray Kai's trust by borrowing Dronzer and challenging Dunga on his behalf to make the attacks on Kai stop. He means well, but Dunga obliterates Wyatt, who almost falls off the roof before Kai catches him. Kai's hand is forced and he reunites with Dronzer for a battle which ends in a draw. Dunga runs off and Kai drops to his knees but starts laughing maniacally before saying, "Looks like I found a worthy opponent. Time to take Dronzer out of retirement." I wish we got short stories like this for Ray and Max. Ray especially, who was set up to have an interesting story after Drigger apparently left in the Russian finals. It would have been interesting to see a solo quest to retrieve Drigger, but Ray's Bitbeast is just back, seemingly returning off screen as recently as the finale of Series 1. It all happened so fast. Back in Tyson land, Kenny and Hillary are kidnapped by two men in suits driving a van. You'll learn that children in peril is an ongoing theme of V Force. Tyson rescues them on a ship, but not before he's forced to battle a Spider Rider looking robot that shoots a sort of digital net onto Dragoon in a failed attempt to capture Tyson's Bitbeast. Gideon, the vampire-looking boss of the kidnappers, shakes his fist as his Dragoon capture attempt fails, and the children escape an exploding ship with their lives. The product promo for the all-new toy line commences in earnest as we are introduced to Magtram and MG cores. The Magtram are employed by the bladers of Team Psychic, Gideon's team, while Tyson and the Blade Breakers use MG cores for a boost in battle. In real life, MG cores were the magnet-based gimmick of the V-Force toy line, where magnets would be placed under the base stadium and the magnetic cores of the Beyblades would cause your blade to dance and swerve around in a way that made it look like your Beyblade was alive, like a Bitbeast was controlling it. We see the reunion of the Blade Breakers as the out-of-town members slowly return to Tyson and Kenny's hometown. First to return is Kai, who saves Tyson from a battle with Snakey, one of the child soldiers of Gideon's Team Psychic. Kai's V-Force design is, for my money, the best Kai design across the OG, the V-Force, and the G-Revolution series. Ray and Max are next to return in episode 8 after Gideon and Mr. Dickinson negotiate a sanctioned BBA showdown between the Blade Breakers and Team Psychic. The guys meet Max at the airport and he starts being flirty with Hillary. Huge Willis from the Digimon movie energy here, the blonde American kid doing a Romeo thing. Also, Ray is just here. We didn't get like a Ray reunion scene, which is disappointing for Ray fans. No epic return like Kai, not even his own arrival scene like Max at the airport. Hillary and Kenny introduce a new blading regiment for the guys who need to get used to blading with the new MG cores. And after Tyson blows up towards Hillary with a mixture of sexism and plain old arrogance, she temporarily quits. Everyone agrees Tyson is being the worst, and eventually Kai realizes that Hillary's back to basics approach to training is incredibly necessary for the MG cores, since they're basically learning a whole new way to blade from scratch. She rejoins after an apology from Tyson and some kindness from Grandpa. All the kids board the bus to what they think is the BBA sanctioned match, but they're knocked out via sleeping gas and transported to a mysterious island. This is where things most certainly go off the rails. Episodes 9 through 11 are this island escape story, and it really feels like this is where V-Force earns its filler reputation. I can't say I enjoyed these episodes. A bunch of Team Psychic recruits, really feeling like Team Rocket grunts here, are stationed across the island and attack the Blade Breakers any chance they get. It's so that Gideon and Dr. B can collect data on the Blade Breakers, which is all they've been doing so far, and they'll continue to do this for several more episodes. Each of these battles involves a cybernet trying and failing to capture a Bitbeast, some machinery exploding, and the villains going, "Curses, it didn't work." It's not all bad. At one point, a scientist yells, "Initiate Operation Rockfall," and then a bunch of rocks fall. I don't know, I thought that was funny. But yeah, the Team Psychic kids are incredibly uninteresting on this island and elsewhere, as they're all just these giggly, crazy, Joker-brained kids. No Team Psychic grunt comes close to being as interesting as any of the rival characters in Series 1. I felt things picked up a bit after we got off the island of no return, as the show gave us a few solid character-driven episodes. But before those, we get another one of Beyblade's underwhelming launcher upgrade scenes. Having returned home safely, Dickinson gifts each of the Blade Breakers new launchers, and these are the V-Force launchers for the season. V-Force, just like Series 1, has trouble with writing its gear upgrades. Of Tyson's new launcher, Max explains, quote, "Mr. Dickinson bought it for you as a homecoming gift." I don't know, there's something so funny to me about the gear upgrade sequence, a major part of this genre, just being purchased, not custom built, not an ancient heirloom. Mr. Dickinson went into Toys R Us and bought the boys' launchers as a way of saying, "Sorry, I got you guys kidnapped." I mentioned solid character-driven episodes though, so let's talk about those. In episode 15, we learn that Hillary simply can't see the Bitbeasts that the Blade Breakers and the audience have been seeing this whole time. It's the first time the show, at least the English dub, has outright clarified that normal people watching BBA tournaments aren't seeing the dragons and tigers spawning out of Beyblades. This episode sees the guys training, with Hillary asking them how she can see bit beasts. It's the closest Beyblade gets to that episode of Dragon Ball Z where Gohan taught Videl how to fly, sort of letting the audience believe that maybe bit beasts are real, it's just that they can't see them. It's sweet. Hillary finally does see a bit beast in a match between Joseph and Ray, and it's her spotting it that helps Ray win the match. It's cute, it's a feel-good moment, and Hillary is integrating into the weird world of Beyblade. Then there's 16, the last episode I'll cover in this review, a follow-up to Kai's prep school episode. Wyatt, the same kid who befriended Kai but lost his trust when he took Dronzer without permission, is the newest Team Psychic recruit and is assigned to be Cyber Dronzer's blader. It feels a little bit like a new kid pilot being assigned to an Evangelion. You know it's bad watching him go through the training and putting on the gear. Wyatt's doing all of this to impress Kai and to regain his trust. Wyatt battles Dunga from Saint Shield with Kai watching on, but he isn't strong enough to handle the power of Cyber Dronzer. He's told to call off the match but says, "I can't show Kai any signs of weakness. I just wanted to be accepted as a real blader like you, Kai." But he's overpowered by Cyber Dronzer, gets those eerie bags under his eyes, and becomes kind of Joker-brained like the previous Team Psychic kids. He collapses, Kai holds him, while Gideon's men in suits grab the Cyber Dronzer blade and flee, showing us that these kid soldiers they're recruiting are totally expendable to them. If you're Kai, it must bring back awful memories seeing an innocent kid like Wyatt being used as a Beyblading weapon, just like Kai was back in Russia under Boris's training. So I'm hitting pause here at episode 16, having covered about a third of the series. There aren't clear arcs in this show the same way they were in series 1, so it's harder for me to break up these videos, but this is where I'm stopping. But here's my take on what I've seen so far. I was ready to like V Force, having loved the European arc that also dropped the sports tournament format and introduced weird figures and mysterious new bladers, expanding the Beyblade world lore. I was eager for more of that, but so far Beyblade V Force is very stagnant. Very little happens, and what does happen are kind of remixes, echoes of concepts from series 1. Tyson's ego going unchecked when he returns home after becoming famous, done in season 1. A mysterious team of hooded bladers targeting the blade breakers, done in season 1. An adult in charge of a facility that trains talented young candidates into Beyblading super soldiers, done twice in series 1 with Judy and the All-Stars and then Boris and the Demolition Boys. Tyson battling Ozuma for the 5th time, or any one of the blade breakers facing any one of the generic Team Psychic recruits for the 5th time, while scientists try to analyze and capture their bit beast but their computers explode for the 5th time. It's not what I was hoping to see. Hillary is fine so far. Again, I genuinely liked having one character who doesn't care about Beyblade. I think she was divisive among fans, but honestly, she's not the annoying part. It's Tyson's attitude towards her that is annoying to watch. My understanding is that right after this Wyatt episode is when we'll see the permanent members of Team Psychic, who will stick around for the rest of the season. My hope for them is that they get proper characterization like many of the teams from series 1. What I'm really hoping to see from parts 2 and 3 of the show are any character arcs for the main characters. I know each of the blade breakers went through their own individual journeys in series 1, but here in V Force, nobody has any issues to work through. It's what makes this feel like a filler story. Nobody is learning, nobody's changing. Tyson is the worst version of himself and probably isn't getting any better until Act 3 at the earliest, if I had to guess. I will keep watching to fully review V Force from start to finish, so subscribe if you like the sound of that. But if I had to summarize my thoughts on the first chunk of Beyblade V Force, I'd say there's a reason I don't really remember anything from the series. It's because there's not a lot on display here for me to have remembered. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about V Force either back in the day or now if you've rewatched it recently. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.